Hong Kong romantic comedies can sometimes feel completely weightless. Just pure charm, coincidence, emotion, and movie star chemistry carrying everything forward. And honestly, Romancing in Thin Air absolutely lives on its charm. This isn't a groundbreaking masterpiece, but it is warm, it's funny, visually gorgeous, and surprisingly sincere underneath. All the glossy melodramatic trippings are here, and I really like it. I did actually really enjoy this one, and the more it leans into that emotional sincerity, the more it kind of wins you over. So let's talk about Romancing in Thin Air from Radiance Films, number 166 in their range.
你们干不给他喝酒？他抓着我的手，说让我帮帮忙嘛。而且他的眼神都好可怜哦。
At the start, we meet Louis Koo, a film star who has a great career, and he decides on live TV to propose to his girlfriend. But when they get to the wedding, which is a huge public affair, televised for everybody's interest, she walks out on him and leaves him heartbroken. He quickly falls into the bottom of a whiskey bottle, and it leads him to a high up place in the mountains where he just happens to end up due to his drunken shenanigans. And there he meets a bunch of people that's going to shape his life. We're going to meet Sue, a woman who has her own tragedy. Her husband went into the forest to help somebody, got lost, and has never been seen again. Years later, she's still trying to deal with the grief of that situation. You've got two broken people put together in an idyllic setting who have a little bit of a rough coming together to start with, but ultimately you can kind of see where it's going to go.
人就係咁，冇咗嘅嘢放喺個心度，放唔低，困死自己。
You know where this movie's going to go, which would normally be a detractor, but here there's something comforting about it. It has that immediately charming effect. I like the characters in the situation. The gorgeous locations of this mountain retreat was fantastic. It had this kind of glossy but kind of emotional feeling straight away, the kind of thing that would normally repel me, but here it drew me in a little bit, and it was tonally very different from almost every Johnnie To film that I had seen previously. And for the most part, I do tend to really like To's films, with the exception of one that I've seen that was less than stellar so far. Everything I've seen, I have really enjoyed it.
033，你都幾千廿嘅喎，我整翻好架車，你同我遊車河。
The biggest thing for me here was the chemistry between the two leads. I really enjoyed them together. I love to see them help each other mend in little ways to fix the idiosyncrasies that went wrong within their lives, to try and help them mend and deal with this trauma together. There has this warm chemistry there, an easy emotional connection between these two, and it feels playful without ever feeling forced, which makes the ridiculous plot elements that develop later on become almost believable. Without that chemistry, it would completely fall apart. It does have that crazy storyline that you sometimes get in these Hong Kong romantic comedies, where it takes things a little step too far that could almost break the reality that the film makes, but we don't get that here. I think as well as the wonderful locations, the great leads, you get a bunch of co-stars that are just fun. They're there to just lighten the mood, to highlight some of the story points, just to pad things out. But they work really well and create this really fun environment that I wanted to spend time in. I enjoyed it.
他们这里有开了，
他把这个地方租下来，重新经营旅馆，
而且还找我们回来工作。
It creates this terrific tone that balances comedy, romance, a little bit of sadness, and mixes it into the little melodrama without being emotionally cynical. And I think that's the best thing that the film does. It brings a genuine sincerity to the work, and honestly, it's the emotional openness that becomes very hard to resist when watching this one. To's a director is one of these guys that I feel just intrinsically knows the kind of film that he's making. He understands what this romantic fantasy is and what it isn't, and knows that it is not about realism. It's not about emotional comfort. It's a film that fully commits to the warmth, the longing, the escapism, and it becomes very easy to get swept up in the overtrite emotions that we have in the film. It is an isolated situation with characters who are emotionally stuck, who are struggling to move on. They never feel really deep characters, but they don't need to be, because you get an idea of what they are, and for the most part, again, and I've mentioned it a couple of times already, it's the charm that really gets you. I like the look of the film, I like the style of it, I like the way To handles his story, I even like some of the wackier plot points that come later on. It is very sentimental. It does feel like the melodrama can be excessive at times. The plot becomes quite idealised and you need to buy into its emotional sincerity. It is not something that's going to break the mould when it comes to romantic fantasies. But if you surrender to the mood, it's genuinely lovely. And I had a good time watching this one. I really enjoyed Romancing in Thin Air. It just felt like it was wanting to tell a heartfelt romantic story, and you know, it achieved that. And I really appreciate it for just aiming for that, not really a lofty goal, and just achieving it with aplomb. Let's jump into the disc and have a look at the extras. Here we are in the disc for Romancing in Thin Air. Let's go to the special features. First up, we have an audio commentary by Dylan Jung. Next is Riker Chan. Screenwriter and regular Johnnie To collaborator Riker Chan discusses his experiences working on the script for Romancing in Thin Air. Recorded for Radiance in November 2025. This runs for 14 minutes 59 seconds. Gives you an insight into how he got into the career, how he found working with To, and trying to come up with an idea for this script and the stars that they wanted to include within it. Next is another side of Johnnie To. In this visual essay, critic and Hong Kong film expert Sean Gilman explores a key element of master director Johnnie To's career that has remained largely unexplored and unreleased in the West, where he is best known for gangster films, his popular romantic melodramas, created exclusively for Radiance in January 2026, and it runs for 28 minutes 13 seconds. And I like this a lot because it gives you a different flavour of Johnnie To. I myself know him from various certain genres. This was the first kind of romantic melodrama comedy that I had seen, and it was interesting to see him talk about various other ones and how he brings a visual style to these films as much as he does within the gangster genre. Next is behind the scene footage. An edited compilation of candid behind the scene footage for Romancing in Thin Air, featuring Johnnie To and the cast members on set, originally compiled for the 2012 Hong Kong Blu-ray release, and this runs for 25 minutes 15 seconds. Some interesting photography here when you realise the setting looks a bit wild with the weather rather than the idyllic setting you kind of have in the movie. It's just nice to see people just going about film set, just doing what they do. Next we have making of featurettes. In these making of featurettes, cast and crew members of Romancing in Thin Air discuss the film and their experiences filming on location. Originally compiled for the 2012 Hong Kong Blu-ray release. This is 9 minutes 6 seconds, and it's kind of your usual making of. Then we have the trailer. Also included in this set is a 32-page booklet. We have The Rise of Johnnie To and Milky Way from 2011, and Altitude Sickness, Johnnie To's Romancing in Thin Air from 2026. And that's the extras for Romancing in Thin Air. Sentimental, it's idealised, it's emotionally soft, and it's totally committed to the romance and pushes the melodrama exponentially, almost to breaking point but not quite there. And you know what? It just worked for me. It just worked in a sense that I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed the characters, the situation, and some of the silliness that the film brought as well. Is it the best Johnnie To film? No. But you know what? It's just good. It's enjoyable. It was a couple of hours that I don't feel wasted, that I liked spending with characters that I genuinely enjoyed. I would love to know your thoughts on Romancing in Thin Air. Let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, or fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.